Yo, faithful, it's the Niner Phantom. So, wanted to bring this up. Is there a QB controversy? Is Mac Jones the guy? Is this what's happening now? Is Brock Purdy on his way out? What's going on? Yeah, I want to say just right off the back, this is an overreaction. There's always going to be an overreaction, though. As soon as a backup QB starts doing really well, especially, with the San Francisco 49ers, especially with the Niners. Come on, we're kind of like not able to get out of that rhythm somehow. But the short answer is no. In my opinion, there's not really QB controversy. I think that Mac Jones is doing really well for himself. He's doing really well. And I believe that if he keeps putting up these type of good performances and good numbers, I do believe that he's going to have another shot at becoming a full-time starter. And I don't believe that it's necessarily going to be for San Francisco. Not because I don't think he's capable of doing it, but because kind of like Sam Darnold in the 2023 season, this year we went to the Super Bowl, like, as much as we're cool with Sam Darnold, and we think he's still a really good quarterback, and he got rehabilitated when he came to the Niners, like, there's a difference between the regular season and the playoffs. And you saw that last year with Sam Darnold. Minnesota didn't keep Sam Darnold, not because he wasn't a good quarterback, but because when Sam Darnold played in the playoffs, it did not look great. And it's at those moments that you realize how valuable a guy is who can perform in the regular season, but then who can also perform in the playoffs. Because I can pretty much almost guarantee you that had Sam Darnold played well in the playoffs, not even like they won the Super Bowl or anything, but had they got into maybe like an NFC championship game, or even done a deep playoff run, and he performed well enough, I'm pretty sure he would be the starter. Because he didn't do that, Vikings moved on, Minnesota moved on because they had J.J. McCarthy. And they're like, you know what, we're going to stick with the young guy. So here's the thing. What Mac Jones is doing is really awesome. Nothing against him. I think he's doing great. He's 3-0, right? And the reason why there's a controversy is because with Brock right now, we're 1-1. Brock has thrown 4 touchdowns. He's also thrown 4 interceptions. Mac has thrown 6 touchdowns versus 1 interception. And so at some point you're like, man, the numbers just look better. And he looks competent. But here's the thing. The other thing you've got to consider is he's a backup, and therefore defenses have not had enough time to scout him as a player. And I don't mean scout him like, oh, but yeah, he was in New England. Yeah, he was with the Jaguars. No, scout him as a player in this offense, in our 49ers offense, with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays. They haven't had enough time understanding this way of doing things with him as the player behind center. So, again, we got to give it some time and see, how this all plays out. But end of the day, the reason why I still stick with a healthy Brock Purdy, now I do say healthy, because when he's not healthy, he's not as mobile. And when he's not as mobile, it's not as good. Because I'm going to be honest, that O-line, people are like, oh, but Mac did well enough behind that O-line. No, he didn't. Did you guys see his knee? That's the other scary part. I don't know how his knee is going to hold up. That's not looking promising. I don't want his knee to get worse. Now, thankfully, he's got 10 days until our next game. But the fact is, what if his knee gets worse? The O-line got destroyed. And the fact is that, sure, can you play a couple of games with that type of injury? Maybe. But pretty soon, it's going to get worse. And it can start impacting your launch points, how you're handing off the ball, and a lot of other things. So here's the thing. What made Brock Purdy special as well is the fact that his elusiveness in the pocket, his feel in the pocket, and his ability to perform in the highest of leverage moments. I haven't seen Mac Jones in there. Now, not to say he didn't do well. I think he made the Pro Bowl his, rookie year, right? I think he's a competent quarterback. In fact, I honestly think he's good enough. He's good enough. He's good enough that he's put enough on tape other teams are going to notice. And if he keeps playing like this, he might just earn himself another starting opportunity down the line. I believe it would be with a different team. And here's the good news. For some of you who are like, different team, like why? Like what if he plays better? I'm like, again, if he does well with the 49ers and they decide to go that path, whatever's best for the team. But at the end of the day, something that you got to understand is I still believe Brock Purdy is best for the team. And what another team would have to do if they wanted to get Mac Jones and put him in their starting lineup is they would have to give us compensation because he signed a 2-year contract with us. So the good thing is, if we know a healthy Brock Purdy is going to do well enough, then what kind of draft compensation could we get from another team for Mac Jones if he continues to play well enough to where people are like, you know what, let's take a flyer on him. Maybe he could be another version of a Baker Mayfield, like when he played for the Rams and he was, the backup there. Let's take a flyer on him, right? Or sit like a Sam Darnold, right, type, where he got rehabilitated in San Francisco. Then, came on and started performing well. So whatever those cases may be, they ultimately may be possible because of Mac Jones's play. So again, nothing, to me, it's overreaction if after 3 games, you're like, man, this guy is the next thing. Because the fact is, if you remember Cooper Rush from the Dallas Cowboys a couple years back, right, where he went 5-0, and on that stretch, people were talking like, man, 5-0, do we even need Dak? And you realize that there is a slight difference, and there is a reason for some people being backups. Now, again, I think if Mac continues to put on a good portfolio of games where they look really good and he's playing well enough, I think he's going to get another shot. Now, do I think we're getting rid of Brock Purdy because of how good Mac Jones is doing? No, because I still think a healthy Brock Purdy is good enough to win you a lot of games, and he has a lot of experience in some of the biggest games that a person will possibly play. And this is where I think toe for toe, like Sam Darnold had a better season, in my opinion, last year than Brock Purdy had in the 2023 season when they went all the way to the Super Bowl. But I think when push came to shove and the highest leverage of moments, the highest leverage of plays, Brock Purdy came through. And I just look at Sam Darnold and he didn't, right? So I just trust the resume of work with Brock more than I trust, oh, look at this guy, I think he did well after 3 games. Now again, I'm not mad at I'm not mad at the thought of, hey, maybe this guy could be the next thing. I'm just saying, like, we got to consider everything, and we can't overreact. I'm tired of overreactions. We've been overreacting for a lot of things. With Brock Purdy, it took me seeing his full year in 2023 season to finally say, okay, you know what? I'm trusting him. I'm trusting him now. I feel comfortable trusting him. And I'm going to stick to that. So we got to wait and see. Let's see how defenses adjust now knowing they're going to be playing Mac in our offense, the 49ers offense, and go from there. Well, with that being said, what do you see? Is there a QB controversy, or is this more like a Baker Mayfield situation? Or did the Niners, prove something else with Mac? Drop a phantom like if you like the content. Hit like, slam subscribe if you're riding with me this season, and stay tuned. We got to build from here. Stay faithful. Phantom out.